Welcome to Talk Across America. I'm Doug Miles, and we're here in beautiful Sarasota, Florida. And joining us now on our Book Talk segment, great to welcome back to the show. He's been with us a couple of times before, best-selling author, and particularly of a series of novels that have really done outstandingly well. This is called Tear It Down, a Peter Ash novel, a thriller, and we're joined today by Nick Petrie. He's based up in Milwaukee, and he joined us by telephone. And Nick, good to talk with you again. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I kind of wish I was down where you were, because it's wind chill here is 22 degrees.
I don't know how people live up there. I'm sure it's a nice part of the world, but weather-wise, how do you put up with those winters?
Long underwear is
That's
the answer
it.
to that.
Well, I see in your schedule here, you are coming to Florida, though, for your book tour, right? As we record today, on the 19th and 20th of January.
Yeah, I'll be in Vero Beach on Saturday the 19th at 4 o'clock, and I'll be in Delray Beach on the 20th, Sunday, at 6.
Great. You'll be at Vero at the Vero Beach Book Center. People listening to this before that date can check that out. And Delray Beach, I guess it's a place called Murder on the Beach, right? That's the name of the bookstore, I guess.
That's right. That's right. Those are both great bookstores as well. So.
Great. Well, that's part of the fun of writing a book. You get to do a book tour, and at least in Florida, anyway.
Well, I honestly, I love talking with readers because as a writer, I spend most of my time, honestly, in my office staring at my screen. And so to actually get out and talk to people who are reading and to hear what they think is A, it's really helpful, and B, it just kind of, it energizes me for the next push. So I love going on tour.
And particularly when you have a character that's a continuing character like Peter Ash, that must be helpful to you, because maybe you get some ideas of where to go next, right? You might get some thoughts from the readers where they want to see the character go.
Oh, absolutely. I get a lot of suggestions about kind of where they'd like, what kind of problems Peter should have to face and where he should go next. And mostly people want Peter to come to their hometown, which I think is very nice.
Well, for people that may not have been with us before and not familiar with the character, Peter Ash, he's a Marine Corps vet, survival of many deployments overseas, particularly in the Middle East. So I'll let you pick it up from there, how this book starts. I know it takes place and every book takes place in a different part of the world, or at least different city, right? This takes place in Memphis, right? Memphis, Tennessee.
That's right, and he goes to Memphis to help a war correspondent, a friend of his girlfriend, who's getting some strange threats, and they become violent when somebody drives a dump truck into her living room. And then he meets a young street musician in trouble, so he's got now two people to protect, and Memphis gangsters and a Mississippi hog butcher are closing in. So, spoiler alert, things get ugly.
I talked to an author last fall that also wrote a book about crimes in Memphis. Apparently that has a wild history other than music.
Memphis does have a wild history, and if you look at sort of the urban core of many large cities, it's really, some are coming back, and you look at places like San Francisco or Manhattan where it's become quite expensive and quite developed, but Milwaukee and Memphis, we have these inner cores where there are homes that are abandoned, homes that are being torn down. It's really an interesting place to set a novel because of some of the challenges there, and in a way it's kind of like the Wild West, because Memphis, again, like most cities, doesn't have the funding to police it as well as they'd like, so budget challenges and everything else. So it's a great setting, especially for a guy who is kind of a country boy at heart, to sort of drop him into the inner city. It's like, I wonder how this is going to go. What kind of trouble is he going to get into?
Now, when you decided to put the character in Memphis, had you been there before to see the area, or how do you go about doing the research on that?
Well, this is a little goofy. I had set it in Memphis for a particular reason that ended up not the story went in an entirely different direction. I got so caught up in Memphis. Memphis is such a rich and compelling place that sort of these Memphis stories sort of took over, I kind of drew it out of a hat. But then the story that came out is something that really kind of could only happen in Memphis, and that's part of the fun of setting a book in a different city every time, is you get to really dive into something new.
Yeah, you get the music city and all that stuff going on, but the crime part of it as well. So it really kind of has a combination of both kind of worlds there, doesn't it?
Sure. Well, and the goal obviously is to write a fast-paced story that has some fun and some humor and good guys and bad guys and all that good stuff as well. So it's I don't want to I don't want to have people think too much about how serious it is, because this is designed to be fun.
Yeah, it's an adventure crime story, so yeah.
That's right.
That's what makes it fun. Since we talked to you last time, obviously we've had you on a few times with the previous Peter Ash books. Has the character, I guess you should have answered it already, the character has changed over the years, and even this particular book, it changed from what you started to write it about, so that as you go along, the story evolves, doesn't it?
Well, certainly every book evolves from the initial idea, and the goal with writing a series is to have a character that is moving forward on through his life, and because I have this character with post-traumatic stress, I feel like I kind of have part of my mission as a writer is to not only help readers who have not been through that understand what it might be like, almost on a visceral level, to really feel that claustrophobia, but also to show sort of what are the steps that Peter is taking to work through those issues and to get better, in part because, as it turns out, I have a lot of veterans who are that there is something that I am doing here that speaks to veterans especially, and to sort of show what the things that people can do to help sort of mitigate the symptoms of post-traumatic stress, which it's a big deal, and for some people it really can last a lifetime, and there are some really simple things that people can do to help mitigate that.
Yeah, the character Peter calls it white static in his head, right? I mean, that's what he's always living with.
Right.
Which makes it difficult for him to be around people, but he keeps getting put in these situations. That's the inner turmoil, I guess, inner conflict of the character. Makes it interesting that way to write that kind of character. Yeah.
Well, and because he's claustrophobic, he can't really go inside for very long. So it also adds a bit of tension to the book. So how is Peter going to accomplish this when he can't be inside for very long? And it's a really interesting problem to give a character, and especially if you're somebody. I spent a lot of time outside. I was a roofer and a carpenter for many years, and after that I was a freelance building inspector. So I'm out walking on snowy roofs in January, and so I am an outdoors guy, and it was a nice way to sort of to build that into these books as well.
And even though, like you said, that your personality is different in that way, but I guess there's parts of you in every character, right? But particularly the main character, so you probably take some things out of your own life, or do you, for Peter Ash?
Well, some of the things come out of my own life. So Peter grew up as the son of a general contractor, and I was not the son of a general contractor, but I was one myself, and so he has some of those skills and views the world in some of that same ways. But even more, it really is about sort of how you approach a problem or how you interact with people, and I mean even the bad guys, right? They have some piece of myself as well. There are these three characters that are running through this book. There's Eli Bell, who's the street musician, and he's just trying to find his way out of a bad life situation, and I think we all can kind of identify with that, right?
Yeah.
There's a guy named Albert Burkitz, who is a Mississippi farmer who is kind of seeing the end of his way of life coming, and he would do anything to prevent that from happening. And then we have Wanda Wyatt, who's a war correspondent, who's just trying to she's a photojournalist, and she's just trying to kind of find a way to make something beautiful out of this, out of all of the terrible things that she's witnessed. And I think, the goal as a writer is to find something universal in every character, and you plug something of yourself in to make that character come alive on the page.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely been a character people have really enjoyed over the years now, called Tear It Down, another Peter Ash novel. And we've been talking with Nick Petrie today. And Nick, once again, give out your website or your contact information. We'll also put a link on our website for the book, but give that out if you would.
Oh, that would be great. I'm at nickpetrie.com. People can certainly find me on Facebook, nick.petrie.author. At Twitter or anything else, and I love to hear from readers, so feel free to post something on my page or send me a message or anything along those lines. I'm always happy to kind of hear what people think, so please let me hear from you. And actually, I've also got a newsletter which you can sign up on my website too, so you'll get little sneak peeks. I sent out the first chapter of the book to readers, and kind of a little life on tour and all that kind of stuff.
Great. We'll look forward to that, and enjoy your trip to Florida next weekend, and warm up a bit, and we'll hopefully talk to you down. I'm sure you have another book in the works, so we'll talk to you at that time. But thanks for being with us again, Nick.
Oh, thanks, Doug. I really appreciate it. Take care.
Thank you for joining us today on Talk Across America. Please visit our website at dougmilesmedia.com for more great interviews and content. And if you're interested in any of the books we talk about on the program, please click the Amazon link on our website. It helps support the podcast. Thanks for listening. We'll see you again real soon here from beautiful Sarasota, Florida.
I'm Stan Brock. 30 years ago, I formed Remote Area Medical to help people overseas. But then we found generations of families in America isolated by poverty from the health care they need. Together, we can take dental, vision, and medical help to 1 million adults and their kids, right here at home in the United States of America.